are unaware of the organizational features that Gmail has to offer. In order to organize your email, you can actually adjust the labels on the left-hand side panel and make folders to put your email into. In order to do this, you should go to the Settings, which is this gear in the top right, and then click on Settings. There's a tab at the top that says Labels. The first section of labels are system labels. These are labels that Gmail makes for you. You can choose to show or hide them. For example, there's a section called Starred, and if you were to click on the star, it would put it in the starred folder. I choose to hide this because I don't use this feature. The snoozed folder is a folder where you can put things that you decide you don't want to see until a later date. I choose to show that, and you can see it right here. Again, there's important, chats, sent, drafts, all mail, spam, and trash, and you can show or hide any of them. Another option is that a few of these have show if unread, which means it'll only show that folder if there's something unread in there. Next, there are categories. Again, these are things that Google pre-makes for you, like social, updates, forums, and promotions. It has an algorithm that decides what would go where. I don't use this, so I just choose to hide them. Now here's where you can create your own labels. I have things like clubs, committees, my job, Google Trainer, library, anything personal, student information, different groups that I go to, and facilitation. So what I do to create these is I just press Create New Label, and I'm just going to call this Label 1 so that we can see it. And right here, I can actually choose to nest it under a different label. So maybe label 1 actually goes under clubs. But for now, I'm going to keep it on its own. And I press Create. It'll automatically show up on the left-hand side in alphabetical order. Now, when I'm back in my inbox, I can go through my mail and decide what I want to put where. This email, for example, might go under label 1. If I check this box right here, I have an option right here of moving or just labeling it. If I want to keep it in my inbox, but I want to label it as something, I can click on Labels and check off as many as I'd like. So maybe it fits under label 1 and library, and I press Apply. The labels will appear right next to the email information. But maybe I want to move it entirely so that it's not in the inbox. I can actually click Move To and move it to a folder. Now you can only move it to one folder, which makes sense. You can't have it in two different places, but at least it's labeled under both. If I click on Move to Label 1, it'll move there. It's no longer in my inbox, and if I want to see it, I just scroll over here to Label 1, and there's the email that I moved. If I wanted to move it back, I just check on it again, and I can either move it back to my inbox, which is down here, or I can move it somewhere else. I'd like it back in my inbox. If I don't want it labeled library, for example, I click on the labels again and I just uncheck the box and press Apply. Again, I can go back to my inbox and here it is. Another option is to click on the email itself. For example, here I am clicking on this email and I'm reading it, and now I've determined I need to label it something. I still have the options to move or to label at the top. So that's pretty simple. Again, you have labels on the left-hand side, and if you see this little caret icon, that means that they're expandable, which means that I have other things nested under that. For example, clubs, I have practice label that I made, committees, I have the different committees that goes under. So you can actually make as many folders as you want, just like you'd organize a drawer. So that's how you would label something. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.